After traveling for 16 months, I have met hundreds of nomads, and I have discovered there are 6 distinct ways that people are affording to travel full time. So today, I'm going to break down those 6 distinct archetypes so that you can figure out which archetype you want to go with, because you might even discover that you could be traveling way sooner than you think. So if you want to travel full time or full time-ish, or just simply travel more within your year, this is definitely the video for you. So I'm going to give you the first 5 archetypes. The first one is the strategic saver. Second is the digital corporate babe. Third is the self-employed savage. Fourth is the international investor. And fifth is the entrepreneur explorer. Number 6, I'm going to save till the end. I think that number 6 is most people's dream. And let's go over the different archetypes. So the first type, like I said, is a strategic saver. And this person has large saving reserves, or at least enough for them to travel long term. So for each of the archetypes, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of these different types of archetypes so that you can really make a decision on what you think sounds good for you and what aligns with what you can do in the time that you are in. So when your strategic saver is that you can book and plan way beforehand because you already know how much that you have. So you can really plan accordingly so that you know how much you need when you actually get on the trip or when you actually travel long term. And another pro of this is it can be pretty low effort. So when you're on a trip, you really can just get there and then lay back because you already have everything pre-planned and you just have to get to the freaking events that you plan for. The cons of being a strategic saver while you're being a nomad is that you do not have that much flexibility and you don't have that much space for like spontaneity. Like let's say you want to go to this restaurant that you just passed by on a walk. Like that's something that you have to consider. Is it within the budget? And obviously you can plan that out, but this is not a budgeting channel. So you definitely have to figure that out. Another thing is if you do not already have the reserves, then maybe you would have to wait some time to build up the reserves so that you can go on a trip. The other kind of ways I'm going to talk about, some of them you don't even really have to wait. So we'll definitely get into those. Next is the digital corporate babe. These are people that have remote job positions. So a lot of people think this is the only way to travel full time is only to have a remote job, but it's far from the truth. So for the pros of this, you will have predictable monthly income. So again, it gives you kind of more space to plan and plan accordingly based on how much money you're going to be making. You also get to set your own schedule. So for example, if you know that your hours are between this time to this time, then you can plan around it, plan your activities around it, and plan your schedule around it. So it does give you structure and also like the ability to basically have fun and play and explore. So one thing that could be a pro of this is it can be done or paid immediately. Let's say that you've already been working this job. Maybe you already have income from last month payment, or also like maybe you just got this job. You can negotiate for a sign-on bonus and you can use that to start planning for travel and paying for travel. Now the cons of this is that you can lose the stream of income. Jobs are not guaranteed. I think we saw that in COVID. Layoffs happen. Having this as a main source, I don't really recommend, but I have an entrepreneurial spirit. You already know how that goes, right? But I would say that maybe have something else, whether that is having large reserves and this, or also another type of archetype that I'm going to talk about in this video. And also being a digital corporate babe can restrict your flexibility because of the time zones. Let's say you are like working from a place like Indonesia, Thailand, or even Europe. It's going to be way different than the time, obviously, in America, if that's where your job is based. Therefore, you have to keep in mind that you're going to have to adjust those time zones and your schedule to those time zones. And also think about like, hey, will you even have time to enjoy the country? Because if you are going to Thailand, right, but your job is in America, then you will probably have to work during the AM. Like you will have to work during the AM if you are operating on American time. So you just have to keep that in mind. But that's not really a thing for every job. Some jobs, they just within a 24-hour period, they want you to work 8 hours. So you just really have to see the terms and plan accordingly. And the next thing is that your income will be capped. That's another con. So if in your job, they pretty much guarantee you a salary of a certain amount a year, let's say it's $4,000 a month, that is going to be a con, is that you can't make any more than that. So you'll probably have to restrict your travel to a certain type of travel and not really go for variety of, experiences, whether that's luxury experiences or more affordable experiences. Maybe you couldn't do as much of the luxury experiences. So you just have to think about stuff like that. And next is the self-employed savage. This is where you monetize a skill. And the pros of this is that you can create your own on schedule. I know a lot of people that I found that are copywriters. I found a lot of people that are editors. They do social media, planning, marketing, stuff like that. So with that, they can create their own schedule, which helps a lot with, I guess, the flexibility, which gives you the freedom to experience a country while also work and make money. Another thing as a self-employed savage is that you can have retainers, which provide like a predictable income. For example, if you're a copywriter and you're like, okay, I charge per client $1,000 a month. Well, guess what? You can build a client base of 5 clients and then you're making $5,000 a month. And that is something that can be very good, predictable. And obviously, while you're traveling, you can increase your client base, which makes it even better for you, your travel experiences, and just for your bank account. And also, the beautiful thing about freelancing is that you can do it immediately. You could get a client tomorrow if you wanted to. If you actually have a genuine skill, you have connections, you have, a network, even family, friends that you can reach out to and be like, hey, I want to do services for you. This is the plan that I have for you. This is what I'm going to be delivering. This is what working with me will do for your business or brand. Obviously provide value and you can get paid immediately. Like people can pay for your retainer and boom, they're on the books. And then you can go ahead and start monetizing your skill, whether you're an editor, whether you're a copywriter, whether you do accounting. Like there's so much stuff you can do when it comes to the freelancing space. So let's talk about the cons. So one thing that you need to be able to do is market and also sell your services. This is not applicable to everybody because if you have a very strong network, like a physical network where you have their phone numbers and you have their emails, you can go ahead and reach out to them. And if you have 100 people in your network that need your help, then boom, you can just get it from that. But if you need to find clients and you don't have any, you're starting with 0, then you need to market yourself. You need to show your value. Getting on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, how do you market yourself so that you can be different for the competition and actually genuinely get clients? This is all stuff that you need to think about. Another con is that you need to be good enough or skilled enough so that your clients actually want to stick with you. Because to be honest, let's say that you have somebody on a retainer for a month for editing or social media and you're not that skilled at it, you're not that good at it, and you're not genuinely helping their business, probably don't want to spend money with you for next month, right? So you have to think about this retention and actually providing value, which might take time if you don't already have the skill. So another thing is that your income can be limited due to you working solo unless you find a way, system, AI, whatever, to, increase your workflow so that you can gain more clients. But since it is kind of like a one-person job, your income is limited, which could limit your travel, could limit your experiences. So we're getting into the get paid to exist category. These are where the girlies are getting paid to exist because the self-employed savage is basically also getting paid to exist because she's using her knowledge to go ahead and get paid and her skills to get paid through being a freelancer and monetizing her skill. If this is something you're interested in getting paid to exist, traveling the world, living your dream life, and even just having the option to have choices in your life. If you want to take a vacation and you can get up and go, then I think this will interest you because I am creating a free live masterclass, a get paid to exist masterclass where I will be giving you the roadmap, the breakdown to how you can go from 0, nothing to getting paid to exist. So the details of joining that will be in the description below. And I'm excited to see you at the live masterclass. And I just love helping women getting paid to exist because that's what we deserve. We are so talented. We have so much to offer. So it's time to get paid for it. So next is the international investor. This person has cash flowing assets or cash flowing portfolio. A lot of people in this area, they maybe have a lucrative stock portfolio or a real estate portfolio that cash flows really well, or even they're into other commodity space, other things like that, just assets that pay them, that they're able to withdraw from, liquidate from so that they can travel. One pro about this that it can be passive basically if you do it right. Obviously, if you don't do stocks right, if you don't do your real estate portfolio right, you could actually be losing money. So if you do it right and you do the right things, you could definitely be making money passively. Another thing which I love about entrepreneurship and just doing things that are not that normal is actually you have uncapped income opportunity. So that means that within this, you can make thousands of dollars. I've seen people that have assets that have made them thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions, multi-millions of dollars because they just know how to do the dang thing when it comes to their assets. And also a beautiful thing about this is that you can pass it down to your legacy. So that's not really travel related, but nevertheless, it's a great thing to add. But the cons about being an international investor is that it can either take a lot of time in the front end or a lot of money. I actually got introduced to the finance industry industry when I was 17 years old. So I know a lot when it comes to like wealth building, money, financial planning, and just growing your assets, right? And one thing is that you literally, like in real estate, if you have a lot of money, then you can go ahead and get a lot of properties, right? And then boom, right? Like that, you can turn your money really fast to start paying you. But on the other end, if you have a lot of time, you can do things such as like spend time to fix up the property instead of hiring somebody. But you have a lot of time, you can flip the property, and then you can also spend time on negotiations and all that stuff. But if you have the money, you could hire people out and then boom, turn the profit quicker. So there's really two ends to it. It's just that if you really want it to be passive, it does take either a lot of time or a lot of money. Another con is that it takes a lot of diligent planning or a really amazing team to maintain those assets. For example, for real estate, you want to make sure that you have property taxes planned for, you want to make sure that you have, tenants are taken care of and processes in place. And you want to make sure that if you want to make it more passive, that you have a team to manage all of that. That is all things that if you don't have in line, you don't have in place, you don't have planned, then piss poor planning turns into piss poor results, right? So you definitely don't want that. And that's just one con that kind of comes with the game, but I don't think that should be a reason for you to steer away from it. Just get the right information, get the right people around you, and it's definitely possible. People do it all the time. People are successful with their assets and living off of it all the time. So I know you can definitely do it. Next is the Entrepreneur Explorer. So this is for a digital or a physical business. And the Entrepreneur Explorer is exactly that. They're an entrepreneur, they own a business, and they are traveling around the world. One beautiful thing about entrepreneurship is also the uncapped earning potential. There's so much people that need products out there and need solutions to their problems. So if you provide that and you provide that value, then the income potential is basically to the stars. And technically you can start earning immediately. Like if you already have a social media platform, or maybe you have friends and family or a network that you can sell your product to that they might need, as long as there's a need for it, people will buy it, right? So it's just not only about providing that value and solving their need, but it's also marketing and showing that, hey, this is why this will help you with your need and why you are the best option. But that is the pros. The cons is that it may take a lot of skill or discipline, okay? And I'm not saying even may, it does take a lot of skill and discipline. You need to have discipline. You need to make sure you're showing up for your clients, for your business, all of that stuff. And another thing is that income might not be that predictable if you do not know what you're doing, right? So if you don't know how to market, you don't know how to sell, that can affect your income, and it might go up and down, which could affect you traveling. And if you want to travel and you have a physical business, what I would say is that it can be a lot of upfront costs, a lot of upfront work to make that happen, but also a very great team to maintain that type of business. Because if you're going to be traveling, you need to trust the people that are on your team to keep the business going. That's basically when you know your business can be passive. If you can put it in the hands of your team and they can still make money for a long period of time. And the sixth one is the final one I was talking about, I'm going to be revealing, and that is the traveling final boss. And the traveling final boss just literally has ultimate freedom. They get to do whatever travel experience they want, whether it's luxury, whether it's adventure. They can do it at any day that they want. They could do it at freaking any time that they want. Like they literally have full reign of their travel experience. And how you accomplish that is actually a combination of the previous archetypes. Okay, so I'm going to see here exactly on my screen and explain to you guys what makes the traveling final boss a traveling final boss, because this is what most people want. So the first thing that the travel final boss has is that they have large saving reserves. So technically they are the strategic saver, and they also are an entrepreneur explorer, okay? Because the thing about it is not only do you have cash reserves, you also want cash flow. So that's why the final boss is able not only to do whatever travel experience, but they're going to be able to continue doing it, because every single time they make money, guess what? They can use it for the travel experience, or even putting in the savings account that will go ahead and pay for their future travel experiences as well. But not only that, the traveling final boss is also investing their money to grow their money. Basically, to be a traveling final boss is to have cash reserves, to have cash flow through your work. So that's either being a self-employed savage, whether being the entrepreneur explorer, and then also the digital corporate babe. So you could be either of those, plus you're also investing your money by being an international investor. It's basically like this. You have a bucket of money. You continue to have money flow to you through the cash flow you're making through your work, and then you're also growing your money. So like the possibilities are freaking endless, right? And obviously as those numbers are bigger, you can do way bigger travel experiences. So I want to know in the comments down below, what are you interested in becoming in the next year? And then ultimately, who do you want to become in your life? Like, do you want to be a traveling final boss, or do you just want to be an entrepreneur, explorer for the rest of your life and you're okay with that? Or within the next year, do you want to be the self-employed savage? Like, comment down below what just sparks your interest. Would love to know. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So make sure to subscribe, like, and turn post notifications on, because I post videos every single day on how you can attract your dream life through femininity, creativity, and healthy habits. I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye. Mwah.